Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm just trying to decompress because for the past 2 hours, I have been glued to this phone trying to get a vaccine. Yeah, while you guys in America are just saying, like, well, I don't know if I want it. Oh, I don't think I should have it. And it's just sitting there. We are fighting over the leftovers in the bottle, and we still can't get it. All right, so if you're probably wondering, what the situation is with the whole cerveza virus here in Korea and, how the whole vaccine efforts are going, well, it's going really slow. And apparently, Korea is like the bottom of the OECD in terms of vaccination rates. And essentially, that's because we weren't able to get our hands on sufficient supply, and that is being blamed on the current government, although I guess you could see it in both ways. Like, I guess you'd have to really parse through the data to see, really whose fault it was. But in the beginning, yes, we were very much lauded for our mask efforts, and I would say it's 50-50. We were lucky that the masks actually made a huge difference, and we were also very keen on having the masks, so I think that worked out in our favor. The other thing, Korea is not going to be a vaccine developer. And, the whole vaccines, like how we have so many, everyone's, have kind of forgotten that this is actually such a rare accomplishment for all of humanity to have all of these vaccines, not all of them. I mean, we know some of them don't actually really work very well, but for so many of them to have actually succeeded so quickly, that was so unexpected. And so Korea, of course, was, if they were looking at, like, well, if like the big pharmaceutical companies are not even expecting to be able to develop this vaccine successfully, then we kind of got no shot. Let's just wait for them to make it, and then we'll just license it or something like that. So on the whole, I guess that was a smart move. And even if they had tried, I don't, like, a lot of people here say, like, they probably couldn't have done it anyway. So we couldn't probably have had a homegrown vaccine, which basically then means that we are dependent on whenever the countries that have made the vaccine want to release the supply to the rest of the world. Now, there is the argument that Korea moved a little bit slower in terms of securing the vaccine because they wanted to see whether it was safe. And that is generally a concern that has, I think, some weighting. I mean, right now, of course, like, I'm complaining that, it's so hard to get one. But the reason why South Korea is a bit cautious in that aspect is that it's such a small country. And really, if you want to distribute, like, if you really wanted to have probably like everybody vaccinated within a month, and we just suddenly had all the supply, we could probably do it. But let's say the vaccine was not safe and it like killed everyone, then basically the entire country would be gone. So that's why I think Korea is very kind of careful in trying to check and inspect things that come into the supply chain. Although there's a lot of, like, corrupt areas, but in general, I think that's the general conservatism, like the rationale behind it. But of course, in cases like this, yes, this has come to bite us in the butt. And we, I think, are essentially on like the purchase order list. We're kind of like down there now because we sort of waited, and then now there's like a lot of production issues. And honestly, I think a lot of it is that all those people, even in the United States, that don't want to take a vaccine, I still think they're saving one or two shots for you. Because as a nation, when you're governing the nation, let's say all those people just tomorrow change their mind and they want a vaccine, and they had sold all of the vaccine supply to other countries, how do you think the people are going to react? So in some ways, it does make sense that they're probably hoarding some of the vaccines to make sure that if you people are not going to want the vaccine, but then change your mind so that you can have it, that's going to be available for you. On the other hand, that means until all of the pharmaceutical companies and the connection to however the policymakers are, until they decide that, like, okay, we don't need all of this supply anymore, until that happens, they're not going to release more supply to the rest of the world. That's why I have to be like on my phone for like 2 hours trying to get a leftover vaccine. So the way it works is that we've been really rationing it out based on mainly age. If you're in like a critical population, if you're like a doctor, if you're like a teacher with young kids, like you've been put more to the front of the line. But in general, in terms of the general population, we're just getting to, I believe, people in their 50s can start making reservations. I don't even think that they're actually getting the vaccine shots. And a lot of it does start to get delayed and have variances based on like whatever flies into the country. So if people are late, if companies are late sending it to us, then they're late further on with the schedule. For 18 to 49, we nothing. And apparently we're supposed to get an announcement on Friday, Korea time this week, but it's Thursday right now, Korea time, and I just had to make this video because I was just so exasperated by this whole process. So essentially, if you do have a vaccine appointment, generally it'll be from the morning to about 3 p.m. is when the appointment vaccines are administered. And it seems like almost everybody is keeping their appointment because they do open up no-show vaccine appointments or leftover vaccine. And what that basically means is that because this is such a precious vaccine, is that somehow like in the bottle, there's like enough for another dose, but usually I think they would just throw it away. And they're just like, no, we're going to use every single last drop. And so by the time that's kind of done, they're going to like collect all the bottles and like kind of get the last bits. And then they'll say like, okay, we have leftover vaccines. And then so each hospital might have like about maybe 5 to 10 doses worth a day at the end. And so they start releasing the opportunity to grab them on our version of Google and our version of WhatsApp. So there are several methods where you can get into this system, but you can do it through like geo mapping, like trying to find the hospital next to you. You could also have it just go to the hospital site and then just keep refreshing and hoping like, when are they going to upload it? Or you can go to like a whole like map area and just keep like refreshing the map and like trying to see like if a number pops up. So literally you have to be always on your phone. And you can also set it so that there's like about 5 hospitals that you want an alert from saying that there's a vaccine. Okay, so I tried that right when it gets an alert. Well, there was an alert. I tried too late. Okay, so then I tried the whole thing of like, okay, the map. Like even the period of time hitting refresh on the map, you're too late. Like literally, you have to be there like in under a second to basically press like, I'll take it. Yes. Like I got so far as like, oh, good, I got it in terms of like, I'll take it. But if you pause to even read like, which hospital it was or like, do you want this, confirm? Like you can't even read the confirm. You just have to hope and pray that like the button that you're going to press is like yes and not cancel. Like you just have to like that. Like you have to get to the end before anybody else. It's not just like the first press and then you can kind of be like, okay, yes, I would like. No, you got to go boom, 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 boom. And like literally it turns into like, how close can I get my finger to the screen? Like, do I have enough like, reflex muscles? Like, this is the crazy thing that we're trying to do just to get and do I have to do this every day? Do I have to do this? Do I have to sacrifice 2 hours every day? Because basically, so around 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., all the hospitals just release at different times whenever they want to. So you don't know. So if you're literally not on it like this for 2 hours, you have no chance. You literally have no chance. So Sean, you're probably asking me like, well, what if you have like, a connection to a hospital and they tell you like when they're going to upload it? Because they upload it up to the system and then that's when you can like, press. Don't tell me how I did it, but yes, even getting a heads up on when they were going to upload it, couldn't do it. My fingers didn't move fast enough. The closest I've got to a couple of these hospitals was basically that first screen. Like, yep, I'll do it. And then like, I just couldn't execute all of the, and it's not even that many. It's just like 2 more steps, but you literally have to be on it. If you just think like you're just going to wait and then you're going to check, Facebook or Instagram. No, even switching the app in between, too late. So all of you who don't want the vaccine, please send it to Korea, please, or move us up on the list. Please. I'll even give you my DHL or FedEx account number. You can charge it to me. Please. Like, we literally are trying to like get the, like the last bit of mayonnaise on the mayonnaise bottle. That is literally what we're trying to do. And we're fighting over that, okay? We are fighting over the last bits and scraps. And actually that has a history. I didn't know this, but penicillin back in like right after the war in Korea, that was like a precious, or even during the war, such a precious commodity because that was like the only thing that could actually cure people. And when the US soldiers in the hospitals would administer and use those vials, there's always kind of like a residue left over. So they would give it to like hospital staff or Korean doctors who worked at the US Army based hospitals to throw away, but a lot of them would keep it, and then they would put it upside down or something and wait for it to kind of like drip, and then they would create more doses and they would go around and save people's lives. And some of them actually did more than save people's lives. They kind of like sold it to the highest bidder and then they made a lot of money, but shady. But yeah, that's what they did. But that's the kind of thing. We're just trying to just get the last bit of, So please, if you want to reconsider, please take the vaccine, because I think you guys need to get your vaccine rate up in the US so that then policymakers can feel comfortable that if they start releasing more supply to the rest of the world, it's not going to come back to bite them if all of y'all suddenly say like, all right, we changed our mind. Yeah, let's go get one. And then you're like, whoa, what? They all went to Korea? How could that be? Blah, 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 blah. Like, no. So the faster you get vaccinated, the faster we can get vaccinated. So please just step on it, or just can't you just write a voucher or something and say like, look, I want to give my vaccine to Sean over in South Korea. Please. Like I said, I'll give you my DHL or FedEx. Okay? That's just my message for today on that. And I thought that would just be an interesting thing to share with you on how we're going about just waiting for the vaccine. So 18 to 49-year-olds, like, we're going to get the announcement, but most likely we're going to have to wait until the end of August or end of September, even for just the first dose, okay? Just the first dose, end of August or end of September. If there's more specific clarifications that the government announces, I'll put it into the description box below. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining me on this rant. I'll talk to you later. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Tune in next time. Don't forget to subscribe. Find us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Love you.